Hello and welcome back. This is the Nation Network. I'm your host, Vince McSham, and this is the second edition of What's News. And this is where we get to come and talk about all things that have anything to do with the world of pro wrestlings. So welcome aboard, everybody. I already see a few of you guys getting going on the chat room. That's always a great start. And I'm still tweaking a couple of things over here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that right now if I can pull this up. And this is what I'm looking for. Let's try that. Okay, so hey. Been a busy couple of days in the world of professional wrestling. But like I said, anything that's got to do with 2K22, it's got anything to do with WrestleMania weekend, Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, any of that stuff, it's all open for discussion here. And I'm trying to figure out why. Let's see how that'll work. Coming up with a slightly new format here, so just bear with me so we make things a little bit more legible. There, that's a little better. Okay, if you want to get involved in the chat, I'm going to be probably experimenting with different methods of doing this, but for today's purposes, you do have to have a PlayStation. That's the way it's going to work. You can have PS4, PS5, it shouldn't make a difference. But basically you want to do, and I'll pull it up here for you real quick, I think. There we go. So you go to your party chat, look for Old School's WWF Party. It should be open for up to 4 people. If we get too many people in there, then you won't be able to hear everybody talk over each other. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to do that right now anyway. Some people are at work and things like that. Some people don't have a PlayStation, so. But I just thought it'd be a lot more entertaining if we could actually have live conversations back and forth without any time delays and things like that as well. We can still, of course, do the chat as well, but this gives you guys an opportunity, and me an opportunity, more importantly, to speak directly with some of you guys. So, that said, I'm going to go ahead and make this public now, so everybody that wants to jump in can. And hopefully nobody that doesn't belong here won't jump in and say something stupid, but we shall see. Well, that's appropriate. All right, sound of... No, don't want that. Online status. There we go. All right, so now it should be available and audible and all that good stuff to anyone who is interested. So just get and jump in and become part of the conversation. In the meantime, we'll have some background stuff going on here, and then at the same time, we will be discussing some of the stuff from this past weekend. All right, let me kick things off with a couple of polls that I put up over the last few days. And I'm not really all that big into polls, to be honest with you. If I want to do something with polls, usually it involves bringing a bunch of dollar bills with me. So I think we've learned in recent elections that polls don't really mean a whole lot. But in this situation, I know that they're more accurate because A, I'm the one hosting them and I'm not changing anything. And B, it's about wrestling, so what's the point in fudging it? So the first one was, what was your favorite match for night one? And the options on that, I kind of weeded out the ones that just didn't seem like they'd be likely candidates. So we had Ronda Rousey against Charlotte Flair. We had Cody against Seth, Austin against Owens, Becky against Belair. And overwhelmingly, Cody versus Seth. And I was a little surprised that Austin and Owens didn't do better, since this is a channel that really drives a lot of old school content, and usually folks from the Attitude Era and things like that I would think, chime in a little bit. But and I thought Austin did a hell of a job, by the way. Let's call it what it is. I think Stone. Ooh. There we go. Helps if I'm using the right one. I think Stone Cold did an amazing job for his age, and all that good stuff. I think he just really kicked it out of the park. I might have to be playing DJ here for a little bit. It looks like it's being difficult. Okay, on the screen in the background, we got the Seth Rollins-Cody Rhodes match, because we're going to get to that next. So the overall standings came out with Cody and Seth 58%. And then it drops down to 22% for Austin and Owens. Becky and Belair at 14%, and Ronda and Flair was 6%. And, well, we're going to talk about all that in just a second. Moving on to night number 2. And, man, this thing bounced back and forth a little bit. I liked watching it. I kept on refreshing every hour or so. Pat McAfee and Austin Theory took number 1 on the night 2. 39%. We are going to talk about that. Second place came to Edge and AJ Styles, followed by Roman and Brock, and they edged out Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville, which, by the way, Sami and Knoxville was number 1 for a while, and then finally I guess people started voting in saying, no, bullshit. We're going to talk about all that. The other thing I had asked you guys is, what do you think of WrestleMania being a 2-night event? Do you think it should stay 2 nights or go back to the old 1-night format? That's like a 50-50 split. I threw an extra one in there just a goof, which of course 5% of the people had to vote on, which was all week long, because what's next, right? So anyway, oh, that's not going to work. There we go. So yeah, it was literally 50-50 split on how many people wanted to stay 2 nights and how many wanted to go to 1 night. Personally, I think 2 nights is too much. That's just me. So those are the 3 different polls that I had put up over the last few days, and those are the results. Thank you guys for participating in that, because it actually does help me as a content creator, you know, come up with directions and try and help put me in a place where I think I can come up with stuff that you'll enjoy. Okay, so back to over here. Let's go down day 1, and then I'll start getting into the comments here and get everything going. Once again, if you're just joining the stream and if you want to participate with live conversation, you have to have a PlayStation Network thing going on. That's the only thing. But there's an open party right now. All you have to do is search for me, Old School WWF. And if we're not already friends, let me know in the comments here. I can add you, and we'll get you up on the chat live. And that'd be pretty cool. I'm looking at other options for future ones. I might do something with, whatchamacallit there? Drawing a blank on it. Skype. Might do something with Skype next time out, so we'll definitely, this is like a first attempt. That's all. All right, night 1. Looking at SmackDown Tag Team titles, the Usos against Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. All right, Rick ends up legit injured after the match at the very end of it. We got a few injuries to talk about. But anyway, he ends up injured at the end of the match. I wasn't blown away by it myself personally. I just thought it was an okay match. I didn't watch a lot of that one. I skipped through a lot of stuff because it wasn't going to really hold my attention, and I knew that. Drew McIntyre going up against Happy Corbin. I think you guys already know where I stand on that. I'm looking at one review that gave it a B. I find it impossible that it could have. Again, didn't watch a lot of it. I skimmed it a little bit. I did see Drew McIntyre cut the ropes at the end, and I was almost wondering. I was like, wait a minute, were they gimmicked ropes? I was like, no, they couldn't be, because they were using them for the whole damn match. And that's when I realized, damn, they got to redo that whole friggin' ring during a commercial break. Nice. So that's a pretty damn sharp sword he was wielding there. Great effect, too. Okay, then we go to the Mysterios going up against Miz and Logan Paul. And here's where we start to have a theme that develops here. And it's not good, guys. This was a good match. It was an entertaining match. And what's sad is Logan Paul was more entertaining and arguably did better than several of the pros leading up to that match and several of the pros after that match. More on that as we get through there. But I actually thought the Miz-Logan Paul match was pretty good, and I love the Miz ending where he just flattened him out. I thought that was perfect. Go on to the Raw Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair. For me, I just can't. The idea that some chick's going to walk around with a 20-foot-long ponytail and use it as a weapon, it's like, I'm sorry. I just have no tolerance for Bianca Belair's act at all. Nothing about her is over with me. I just can't watch her. According to this review, gave it a B. No. Oh, wait a minute. Gave it an A+. Okay, I need you guys to tell me. I didn't sit through it. I can't sit through it. But A+, really? Because we're about to talk about something else here in a minute that I did blow my shit over. All right, then we got Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. They gave that a B+. I don't know how you give it a B+. I think a C+ to a B- is being kind. And I can tell you why on that as well. But I heard one particular individual, and I don't remember, it was one of the big YouTubers that does constant wrestling news programs, say that it was the greatest match, and it's up there, and it's easily as good as Steamboat Savage and Taker HBK WrestleMania 25. I watched this match, okay? It is nowhere near that conversation. Shouldn't even be coming out of your mouth in the same sentence. And the easiest way to put that claim to shame is every time Seth tried for the curb stomp, rather than let Cody sidestep it, which he was going to do anyway, he kind of, I guess, took extra precaution that, what if he forgets to move or something? And he kept twisting his hips so that his foot would never come down where Cody's head was when it was his target. So he's deliberately missing the target that's not supposed to be there in a tenth of a second anyway. And it just looked horrible, and he didn't do it once, did it 3 times. 3 times. That's not a B+. And it certainly is not Savage, Steamboat, or Taker HBK. Anyone who says that it is, they're just kidding themselves. I mean, I know it's the perception thing, and it's a form of art, and everything's open to, the eye of the beholder. But, man, get glasses. Get glasses. Charlotte Flair against Ronda Rousey. Okay, this is where I know these people are delusional. B-. It was the worst match of the night, of the weekend. It was horrible. No, all right, it's the second worst one. The first one's going to go to Sheamus and company, but we'll get there. Ronda Rousey needs to just take a break, walk away. I mean, your head and your heart are not in this. It's a paycheck maybe. But you sucked. Ronda Rousey was terrible. Her timing was so off. Everything she did, it looked terrible. It was sloppy. And we've seen her look good. We've seen her look excellent. Her first matches looked a million times better than this. And a million times better than people who've done it for 5 or 10 years. But man, oh man, she stunk up the joint with this performance. And she wanted to be the main event? Let's move to the main event. Stone Cold Steve Austin against Kevin Owens in a talk show that turned out to be the match we all kind of expected it was going to be. And that got an A. We'll finally agree with this critic on something. Stone Cold Steve Austin, 50-plus years old, and man, he looked good for what he had to work with. I mean, yeah, he's leaving the T-shirt on now. He ain't taking that off. I'm sure he's got a little bit of a beer belly going on, what have you. But my God, for the little time he had to prepare and what he was able to do and how we... nah, man, I'm sorry. I think the huge props to Stone Cold Steve Austin for that performance. That's the way to go out, dude. That should be the last time you ever get in a wrestling ring. You've done what you need to do. And then some. Okay, that covers night 1. Let's jump over here to night 2 real quick. And I promise I want to get into the chats as well. So, once again, if you're just joining us and you want to do the live chat, you got to be on a PlayStation Network console at the moment. That's the only thing. And then just look for Old School WWF. I'm in a party chat right now. It's wide open. All you got to do is join it with a microphone, and you'll be coming up here with me. Actually, it would help if I turned the volume up on it, though, right? Let's rematch this one real quick so I don't have to spend too much time looking at it. Let me take a quick look and make sure I didn't miss anybody in that. Hey, Big JH, there he is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I've been talking, but you...
I had the volume down, man.
Me, I guess.
I had the volume down. That was my bad. All right, our first person.
I chimed in on the Ronda Rousey match. She knew she wasn't going over, so she didn't put her heart in it.
It really looked bad. It looked really, really bad. Not a good optic, I'm not going to lie. And I'm a Ronda fan. I mean, I'm no hater whatsoever. I've been a fan of hers from day one. Back in the Ultimate Fighting, UFC. Big fan of hers. But, man.
She needs to take Charlotte's advice and just go away and make more babies with her husband. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, how much of that is advice? How much of that was a shoot? Because it was so hard to watch. It's like, all right, you're going to bumble it once in a while. You're talking about a major live pay-per-view and all that kind of stuff, but...
They gave her an out, though. I mean, with the rough bump, and that way they can bring it back, but I don't know if they want to.
I don't know that I want to see it again. I can tell you that much right now. All right, let's look at day 2 matchups here real quick.
Okay.
Going with Bobby Lashley versus almost a wrestler. Why? That's all I get to. I knew it was going to suck because the he's a monster of a guy, but he can't do anything. He's not a nah. So that match is a miserable flop there. I can't even rate that, but Bobby did what he had to do, working with the tree. Then we've got the Raw Tag Team titles. RK Bro, the champions, going up against Street Profits, who I've rarely even seen because I don't watch the product anymore. But I will tell you, there was a spot, and they also had the Alpha Academy in there for fun. Street Profits hit that blockbuster off the shoulders, and I jumped. I was like, holy shit. So now I will watch Street Profits, okay? They've won me over enough to watch them because that was some shit. That boy was so high in the air when he got that blockbuster. He came down the hardest. Here we go. Sami Zayn, Johnny Knoxville. The whole time it was happening, I just wanted it to end. And I'm looking at them panning in the crowd. The crowd was loving this stupid shit. And I keep reminding myself, this is the entertainment network, not the wrestling network. And that's kind of where it was at. Clearly, they were getting the bang for the buck out of the entertainment. And I do like what they did with Johnny, bringing all the jackass guys out to help him out. It's a no DQ match. It's all fun and games. But overall, I thought it was more of an insult to wrestling. Here's another guy. You got Johnny Knoxville, guy, not a wrestler, but he's hitting wrestling moves. Hell, Wee Man is slamming your former Intercontinental Champion. It's just not a good optic. Pat McAfee going up against Austin Theory. Pat, another not really a wrestler, but in his credit, he's been training for years. So as far as I'm concerned, he gets that pass that he could be. And he
actually went to a wrestling school.
Yeah.
With Rip Rogers.
Exactly. So, I mean, he's really done all the training to be ready to do this. And I was really, really happy with the way the whole match went until 80-year-old Vince McMahon steps up and decides that he's going to take his shirt off and I'm going to get in the ring and you're going to sell for me, pal. Because even the selling was not good. I mean, how can you sell for a guy who can barely move? I mean, at his age, he looks okay, but he's not looking okay. You know, we've seen Vince wrestle, and we've seen him without the shirt before, and he looked better than he's looking now. Again, I don't know too many guys his age that look like him. I don't know any. And dare say I don't look like him. But I'm just saying, there's no need for what happened. I was more worried that he was going to drop dead trying. And then he gets a win over McAfee? I don't. That left a bad taste. The only thing that was worse than that, and we thought we could never see a worse stunner taken by Vince McMahon than we saw at Madison Square Garden. But, hold my beer. That was the worst. I mean, Jesus. He got the kick to the midsection, which, of course, missed by a good 2 inches. And he's
80-year-old men shouldn't be taking stunners. It's like,
well, he didn't. He
well,
didn't.
he could have fell and broke his hip.
Yeah, that's what I would say. He shouldn't have been doing any of that crap, because even after he rolls out of the ring after the stunner that never really even happened, it's like he rolls out and he's going head first, so he kind of put his arms out first, but then his back end rolled off and he came down. I mean, it's only a 3 or 4 foot drop, but when you're 80 years old, that's the difference between being in a hospital with pneumonia and death. You get a broken hip at that age, and it's pretty much a death sentence. So anyway, that was not necessary. It was very uncomfortable to watch. I liked the McAfee-Austin Theory match very much. That was one of the highlights for me. Surprising.
I wonder if Vince took his insure before he got in there and took that stunner.
Oh, man. Well, he didn't take the stunner. That's the whole thing. It was so poorly executed. And Austin was trying to be as soft with it as he could because he didn't want to be responsible for killing the guy. I mean, he was really going to let Vince do everything on the fall part of it, and Vince just couldn't even get back up from the boot to the midsection. Oh, it was so bad, so bad. Women's Tag Team Championship: Zelina, Carmella, Naomi, Sasha, Ripley, and Liv Morgan, which is my new favorite female tag team, and Natalya and Shayna Baszler. I like Natalya and Shayna Baszler as a team. I just think it's a good combination. You got the second generation thing going on and the MMA superstar thing going on. They're both legitimate badasses. Natty's has been one of the greatest technical wrestlers on the entire roster for years. She's right up there with anybody else's name you want to mention, not just the women's division, but any division. And I really just thought that was we'll go one more rematch on this because I haven't got time to set up another. I think this will be 2 out of 3 at this point. So, yeah, not a bad situation to have right there. And at the end of the day, yeah, they ended up getting the win, right? So that's a good thing. Edge and AJ Styles, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great, wasn't bad. The ending sucked. Although I did like Damian Priest and Edge and what went on after the match. That part I enjoyed. But that he didn't do a damn thing to AJ, but it cost him the match.
They've been setting up that pairing for months because if you watch the show every week like I do, they've been having backstage interactions between Edge and Damian Priest, so that's not like out of the blue booking, but like a lot of people think if they just turn it on. So they've been teasing them being together for a little while.
Okay, well, I don't watch much of the product currently because it's just been so bad. I watch AEW more than I watch anything else right now. But I do like this. I think Edge and him make it just optically alone, just the appearance of them, that their looks are similar, but they're not. They both look like they will mess you up. And Edge does a great heel. I mean, he's right now. Part of me just wanted him to stay babyface for the rest of his run because of all the years. But he's killing it right now, man, with this. He's so good at being bad.
And if they're going to put Edge back in the world title picture, they can use Damian Priest as his heater.
True that, because, I guess we're going to have to wait and see what they're going to do with that world title thing. And that brings us up to the world title match. Unification, Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar. So, stuff happened. Apparently, there was a legitimate shoulder separation. I thought he was just, playing it off and it was part of the story. But according to reports that I've been reading, unless it's a work, but I don't think so. He actually, when he put that Kimura on him, because you got to remember, it came out of a spear attempt. And he locked it on as he went down. And apparently he legitimately popped Roman's shoulder out. So when he was telling Paul Heyman, I thought it was part of the act. When he's telling Heyman, it's out, it's out. I was like, well, that's pretty cool, man. They got the camera right there to pick it up. Sounds good. And you're making it believable. And then you find out, no shit, it's really out. And that I didn't think about it immediately. But the fact that they went home on the match, 30 seconds later? I was like, well, that's kind of a weird way to end the damn match. Not even a build-up to it or anything. And then I realized afterwards, oh, damn, he's really hurt. I thought he was just selling it, not raising the arm with the belt and all that. And they even said he just popped his arm back in. I'm like, oh, they're just, again, that's a commentator's job is to make that kind of connection with the fans and all that, but I didn't believe it. So anyway, that's WrestleMania 2 nights recapped. Good, bad, and ugly.
Read the dirt sheets. You know who his next opponent's going to be, don't you? Roman Reigns.
Right now, probably a doctor.
Dope. It's going to be Drew McIntyre.
Well, that'd be a good way to write Roman off for a little while because he's going to have to heal. You won't be able to, separated shoulder, that takes time. You can't just pop it back in and start wrestling. And Drew never, you know what? I hate the fact that Drew was a champion when he was because he never got the run that he deserved with fans. He had the whole COVID BS to deal with empty arenas and all that crap and Thunderdomes. So let me take a quick look at the chat board here. Michael Garcia, thank you for being here. Cade Welsh in the house. How are you doing, buddy? Just reading some of these as well. I can look into Discord, to be honest with you. I'm not well versed on some of this stuff, so I'll be straight up with you. It's like I've got a Discord channel or a page, whatever the hell they call it. But do I know all the intricacies of it and the ins and outs of it? No, I don't. But I can do some research and mess around with it, and if I can get it to all work and then also have it tie into my system, then, yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm looking at a couple of different options right now. Jamon Scott, I'm doing great. Thank you for being here. Icon Sports Network. Here we go. They don't have the star factor. Ooh, interesting point. For 2 nights is what Icon says. I don't know anymore. It's like they have star factor. Look at that list of names we just read down. The problem is they're not booking them to make you feel like they're stars. It's not like they... Let's put it this way. Almost any name I just mentioned leaves the WWE tomorrow and shows up in AEW. It's going to get a pop. A massive pop. But WWE writing is just so god-awful. And yet, WrestleMania... The things that weren't good about it this time around weren't on the shoulders of the writers. The things that didn't go well was because performers either didn't work well with each other or just didn't show up to play. And right away, Ronda Rousey pops into my mind. You look what happened with this Sheamus match. I don't even know if I even mentioned that thing. Why bother? I guess you advertise it, you have to do something with it, but that was such a waste of everyone's time. The entrances lasted longer than the match. Come on. It's WrestleMania. They did it to a world champion, right? So I guess anything's fair game. The kiss of doom. Matthew Soper in the house.
It should have been a kickoff show match.
Yeah, especially for what they did with it. No kidding. Dwight Braswell says the Stone Cold match was like in slow motion. Well, I'm going to guess he's about, 57, 58 years old. It looked like fast forward to me considering what I was expecting it to look like. What else we got going on here? D-Train! Soper doesn't have a mic, unfortunately, but he has a PlayStation. That's a start. Blazed Radio. Blaze, I got to hear your thoughts, man. You got a PlayStation. Get on, man. They can try to build almost all they want. It's Elegante 2.0. You can't do nothing with him. Andre could move. Andre could sell. Andre is one of those rare finds, just like the Big Show. You don't get that many of those guys, and you don't have one in Almost. I'm just saying it right now. Elegante, Kali, That's what you have with him, and none of those put asses in the seat. Infrared TV. Yeah, Montez really blew me away with that blockbuster, man. I saw what they were going to try and do, because at first you think Doomsday Device. And then I realized, oh, no. He's going to try and do what? And then he did it. And his hang time, God, I swear to God, normally anything that stays in the air that long has a stewardess on it. I couldn't believe that he was up there that long. Hit it perfectly. So that match is, I'll watch that one back. There's a couple of them I want to watch back. And I want to watch the Cody match again to see if I'm missing something. But for anyone to ever say that the Cody Rhodes match with Seth Rollins belongs in the same conversation as Macho Man and Steamboat and HBK and Undertaker at WrestleMania 25, no, I'm sorry. I watched it. It didn't hold my attention fully. And to be honest with you, I don't... anyone want to chime in, go for it. But Cody Rhodes, would you pay to see him? I mean, is he going to make you drop money down to see him? If he's on the card, I might watch his match. I'm not saying I'd get up and go to the bathroom. I'm just saying I'm not going to spend money on a ticket because, oh, Cody's fighting tonight. He's not exciting. He doesn't have the it factor his dad had, not even close. That's, again, the way I feel about it.
Just signed him to put AEW a middle finger to him. Yeah,
I mean, look, we know that there's a reason, why they got him, and I don't know what they're paying him, but sounds like it's a pretty good amount of money. And you're right, he was one of the founders, so they definitely wanted, for all the talent of theirs. But then again, what are they complaining about? They're the ones giving them all the talent. Not just in ring, but backstage. You gave him William Regal. What kind of stupid-ass move was that? Blaze agrees that is the worst stunner ever. I don't think anybody's going to argue that one. The Jackass match. I'm trying to... There's times like I've seen movies where I thought the movie just sucked. And everyone else says it's a great movie. And I'll go back and watch it. The Star Wars Rogue One. I saw Rogue One in the theater, thought it was the worst piece of shit. And everybody else said, oh, no, this, that. And then I waited about 3 or 4 months. Let me watch it again. And I watched it again. And now it's my favorite Star Wars movie. And not because other people said it was great, because I was watching it with a different set of eyes. I was in a different frame of mind. And I was able to appreciate it for what it was. And I'm thinking maybe that'll happen with, let's say, the Cody match. But it'll never be Steamboat Savage. It's not going to do that. Here we go. Put a couple of monsters in the ring. Speaking of monsters, Monster Jam Freak, what's up? Man, oh man, he's got an opinion to have, doesn't he? The biggest stage of them all, AEW talent would put on matches that are worth being at the biggest stage of them all. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, look, most of this stuff wasn't great. Some of it was okay, some was good. But when your main event wasn't as good as Jackass, so far as fans' approval, and it wasn't as good as your announcers match, and that, even I agree with that, then Houston, we got a problem. You can't really call it a success. Cody versus Roman again. And look at Roman. I mean, I don't think any of us could really stand him for a long time. But I definitely couldn't stand him when they were force-feeding him down our throats and trying to say that, he's the next coming. And then they finally turned him heel, and now they started letting him do his own stuff. And now I can get behind the guy. I love him as a heel. I think he's kicking it and doing what he needs to do. But I don't know that that's going to happen with Cody, because Cody's been doing his own thing for the last 2 years now, and I still don't look at him and get excited about a match. It just doesn't have it for me. Grave Worm, what's up, buddy? Yeah, see, we're starting to hear a lot of the same stuff. Wrestling wasn't great, in my opinion, Grave Worm says. However, I was thoroughly sports entertained. You don't think that, okay, if Chris Jericho doesn't somehow parody this last weekend's events into his next on-screen appearance, I'll be upset. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's got to, whether it's maybe he'll bring out a big mousetrap or something. Oh, and by the way, yeah, and not that AEW can possibly say anything about this, but here's the Sammy match, and the go-home moment is this giant mousetrap that he's going to trap Sami Zayn in and then pin him because he's trapped in a mousetrap. Only problem is he pulls the ripcord and the damn thing breaks off and it doesn't release the trap. And now Johnny's like, oh, shit. And he's got to go around, and it's comical. He's got to manually pull the thing. Now the thing hits him in the side, and then it finally comes down on Sammy. But it's a piece of PVC with a spring, so you know there's nothing to it. And then he goes and covers him for the win. And all I could think of when this thing's not doing its job, thank you for the sub so much, Justin. Or is it Jushin? Sorry, I couldn't tell there. When he's not able to kick out and they couldn't get the thing to snap, and all I'm thinking about is, reminds me of an exploding ring somewhere. All that build and then no bang. What did you think about Sammy's match, JH? Just go 77. Thank you for the sub, buddy. JH, are you there? All right, we'll move along. He might be taking a break real quick. All right, the wrestling wasn't great. We got that one. Stone Cold saved. Saved it, to be honest. Yeah, I agree. Golden Era or Attitude Era, which one was better? For me, Attitude Era by far. It was more real. Golden Era was cartoon, comic books, and it was fun. Loved it, don't get me wrong. But which one did I really enjoy the most, get the most out of, have to watch it? Attitude Era. Bray Wyatt, Jamon, Scott. Thanks for being here, by the way. Charles Hannon back again. Thank you again. Infrared. I don't know if I said hello to all of you guys yet or not, but just in case I missed anyone, Andrew Roberts in the house and Neil Hooper as I'm going down the line. We know something's going to happen tonight. All right, it's the Monday after WrestleMania. There still has to be a WrestleMania moment on Monday Night Raw. I'm holding on with both hands to hope, what little I have left, that Bray Wyatt or The Fiend is going to be appearing tonight in some fashion. And with Roman injured and Brock probably going to be gone for a while again, you kind of need that. And that would be a good reason why you would have waited until today. So I'm hoping that he does an appearance tonight. If not, I'll be upset. Ooh, Goldberg almost getting pinned by the redheaded stepchild. The Logan Paul match was better than the main event. Yeah, sad but true in every way. I mean, Logan, and I'm not a fan of his at all, but he won my respect in the world of wrestling because, A, he did his homework, he did his training. Physically, he pulled it all off. Everything he did. What's that?
Sorry, I was gonna be your chat reader for you. Monster Jam Freak wants to know your thoughts on Samoa Joe making his debut in Ring of Honor AEW.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I was predicting it was going to happen one way or the other, or he would go to Impact, because either way he's got history. But I think ROH, plus it'll give him AEW and AEW money, which is going to be better than Impact money. So it's a win-win for everybody. The fans know him, of course, the instant impact on that. And he's going already, his little press conference, he says, anyone thinks I'm not here to be the world champion, hold my beer.
I got a question for you, though.
What's that?
You know the stuff Ring of Honor's been doing with Impact? What's that going to have an effect now?
Tony seems open to discussions with different companies as a rule. And, I mean, the obvious is Ring of Honor will always be able to have some sort of cross-promotional thing going on with AEW. But it's still better for business.
They've been doing that invasion angle for, like, months.
Yeah, but they kind of got away from it in the last several... Well, no, not... All right, take it back. Well, they weren't really... They were doing an invasion angle because these people were unemployed. And Ring of Honor didn't know what they were doing at the time, so they basically said, do whatever you can do to get the money. So you have Honor No More, for example, which I like that group a lot. Whether or not they'll be able to do a whole lot. Again, it depends where people fall at the end of the day. We know Tony's not keeping the Ring of Honor roster. He's keeping a few of them, but not the whole roster. You got teams like the Briscoes out there where, there's rumor that he might not keep them because of some stupid tweets that were done years ago. And enough is enough is enough.
We got another fan question for you, Vince.
Go for it.
Citron YouTube wants to know, will you be continuing the 80s WWF Universe mode, or is League of Legends taking over?
League of Legends is probably going to take over. Right now, the only thing I'm doing with 2K20 are the promos, like the ones that you saw earlier today on the Raw that I did. Those promos I did on 2K20, and then I edited them into the live stream. But at this point in time, that game is so flawed. I mean, this one's got its own issues, too. But, yeah, I don't expect to do. I'm going to stick to just the League of Legends, and we'll go forward with that for old school content.
Infrared TV says, I was there in AT&T Stadium, and everyone there was blown away by Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can't be. The guy did great. I mean, he busted his ass. He did. He did a great job. And even when he was doing the Eddie references, he had the moves down perfect. I mean, maybe it's because I'm the white boy that can't dance, so I'm always impressed when somebody shows any element of rhythm. But I'm just saying, everything was flawless. And then he hit the 5-star. You thought for sure he was going to miss the 5-star, like the knees would come up or something, but then he hit with it. So, yeah, I mean, nothing but props to Logan. I
like this Three Amigos. I thought that was pretty
yeah.
sweet.
I mean, you wouldn't know that it was his first time in a professional wrestling match. I mean, he looks like he's done it before.
He's been training for 2 months with The Miz.
It shows.
And, you can't be that good in 2 months. So, I heard that the tie-in, because the DLC, Logan Paul DLC is not coming out till like July.
Yeah.
I think July.
Right.
So, he's going to wrestle at SummerSlam against The Miz.
I'd much rather see him wrestle as his tag team partner. You got two guys that can get all kinds of heat. Oh, come on, man. That should be his tag team partner as far as I'm concerned. But it's going to be good.
Ratings, they should just throw Logan Paul on NXT.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. NXT is just... I tried to watch some of their weekend program there. I was actually somewhat surprised that the wrestling was as good as it was, because they're getting away from wrestlers now. They're just, going for people who have the right look and then will train you. And I don't have high expectations when that's your litmus test, and that's what you're using to set the bar. But what I saw in bits and pieces wasn't terribly bad. I still can't get over that color scheme that they're using. It just looks comical and hard to take you seriously that way. But I'm sure if you're into entertainment, you probably liked it a lot.
Well, I think ROH is gonna be on YouTube with the other shows because there's a rumor that they're gonna be filming them out of Orlando, but with the Elevation stuff.
Well, if they come to Orlando, then I'll be able to go check out some shows because that's around the block from me. And I like ROH. I mean, back, gosh dang it, which WrestleMania would have been when Ric Flair was inducted the first time for himself. I think it was like 24 or something back there. That was the day before he had his retirement match with Shawn Michaels. And they had, the same night he was being inducted and the night before that, 2 nights in a row, Ring of Honor put on a show at a small armory that was right next to the Orlando Arena, literally walking distance. So on the Friday night, I went there for their show, and I had only seen little bits and pieces of them. I knew of them. I didn't know the shows too much. Great night of wrestling, man. It was amazing stuff. Loved it all. I would have gone to the second night, but I already had the tickets for the Hall of Fame and wasn't going to miss Flair going. But, yeah, I was loving the Ring of Honor stuff. I know they've had a few different changes in the program since then, but it is what it is. I would like to see Tony Khan let someone else take over the day-to-day of it so it has its own style. Kind of like what they were doing with NXT when Triple H had it, and it was always kicking the shit out of the WWE main roster project. It might not have had the ratings, but it was definitely a better product. And that's one of the things I didn't mention, by the way. Triple H's appearance. Man, I'll tell you what. That's how you kick off day 2. Seeing him come down there and do it all one more time, that whole entrance, getting up on the ropes at the end there. And he stared out at that crowd so much. And you just know that he was appreciating that last chance to do that. And if anyone's earned it. I felt like they screwed the pooch a little bit, though, when they didn't show him putting his boots down in the ring. They just panned to it after the fact. But I'm really glad he had that opportunity to do that in front of 68,000 people live and not a COVID arena. Infrared, was this? Stand and deliver. I was pissed because it was short as fuck. 10 minutes for that as well. I'm not sure what Infrared's referring to there. If you're talking about the Sheamus match, is what I'm guessing. Citron, you thought that the Triple H thing was underwhelming, really? Man, tough audience.
Here is your winner, the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
Ooh, Sheamus gets the win. That's 1 apiece. I guess we're going to have to go to 3. All right, let's take a quick look at this image of Sheamus on screen. I've got to take a shit. Too much fiber in his diet. D-Train, you trying to get into the chat room? Is that what I'm reading here? D-Train WO.
I'll try to invite him right quick.
Okay. Oh, that's, yeah, it's cool. You can do that too. That's fine.
I'm your moderator.
Yeah, man. Now this is working out good. Then I can focus on the on-screen stuff.
On your stream, and I'll just be the back. I'll be your producer.
There we go. Teamwork. The party name is Old School WWF's, all one word. Old School WWF's party chat, I guess is what they're calling it. But JH is going to send you an invite here.
Just tell them to send a message to Big JH99 on PlayStation, and I'll get them in. They don't have to add me as a friend or anything. Just send me a message. I'll get them in.
There we go. Send a message over to Big JH99
On PlayStation.
on PlayStation Network. And then from there, he can move you into the chat room. Monster Jam Freak. Respect to the producer of the show. Hey, it ain't easy, man. There's a lot of moving pieces on stuff like this.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Hey, hey, hey.
D-Train's here.
D-Train in the house.
Can you
You're
guys
on
hear
there,
me?
D-Train. You're on the air.
Oh, all right. Hey, what's up, you guys? How's it going?
It's going great, man. What'd you think of Mania? Don't hold back.
All right, I'm gonna get some heat. It was better than expected for me.
Okay.
Just because I think we can all say the build for a lot of these matches was not best, and just overall, I don't know. I give it about a B- overall.
For both days, total overall
Yeah,
score?
Overall, I give it about a B- because, like, we all know, like, the Omos-Lashley match was going to be garbage, which it was. You know, they shouldn't even put the New Day on.
This is what I'm saying. And the more when I go down these matches over 2 days, damn, Sheamus just took out Goldberg. 2 out of 3, buddy. That's it. That was an easy one. When you look at the matches and go through them all, I guess the easiest way for me to say it is, what matches stood out? I mean, we're talking about over 16, 20 matches over 2 nights?
Cody and Seth was the match of both nights, period.
Okay, now would you also say, though, that that was a match so great that it should be rivaling Savage Steamboat?
No.
Okay. I just want to know if I'm crazy or not, because when I heard somebody who I generally agree with saying that, and I'm just like, which Kool-Aid are you drinking?
No, I mean, Savage Steamboat, that's a pretty high standard. But I'll say it's the best match for what they had.
Can the producer give his opinion of that match?
Of course.
I didn't like all the fast car. It was like a car wreck violence, man. I mean, whoa. It was like an AEW match where people were kicking out of finishers, and it's like playing. It's like some kid online playing WWE2K when Cody did all those multiple finishers on Seth at the end. It's like, I got 3 finishers stored. I might as well use them.
Well, and that's
a good analogy.
Yeah, and honestly, that's something that has always been hurting the business a lot. And I know I've heard Jesse Ventura say it on a number of occasions, and I was thinking it. Finishers don't mean anything anymore. If all it really is a false
Jesse
flag.
voice, if you're gonna quote Jesse, you gotta do it in your Jesse Ventura voice.
Well, the fact of the matter is, what happens is the people go out there and they think you're going to hit a finisher, and then, well, what happens? The guy kicks out of it 2 or 3 times. It's not really a finisher then, is it?
But you know, it's funny, a lot of people say that today's wrestling has killed that. Well, if you look back, WrestleMania 7, Warrior Savage.
Fan question from the chat. Citron Y2 YouTube wants to know, who do you think the best heel of all time is?
Ooh. Wow. Yeah. I mean, first it's like, yeah, throw names against the wall and see what sticks. I mean, Piper immediately comes. Oh. Problem with Flair is I liked him when he was bad. I think to be the best heel of all time, you got to be hated, and Piper was hated.
He was one of the first modern cool heels. Those cool heels.
I don't know if Macho Man was too.
Well, Macho Man was a straight heel.
Yeah.
When he was a heel. When he was a babyface, he was a heel.
I mean, for me,
There's no in between.
I'm still stuck with Piper. Who did I just absolutely hate?
See, to me, it's like the LeBron Jordan era. Like and it depends on which era you're going through, because
I think Stevens and Bachwick were probably the best heel tag team.
Yeah, Stevens was another guy I really loved to hate, especially when he pile drive Snook on the concrete floor.
I think he's the innovator of that buckle flip that Ric Flair stole later on.
Yeah.
Oh, in the corner that he does. Yeah.
That's a good question. It's a tough one to answer, but I'm going to go with Piper, I guess, in his day. I mean, back in the 80s, I just genuinely could not stand him. And that's him doing his job to perfection. But, yeah, that's going to be the guy I go with, Piper. 1985 Rowdy Roddy.
I think Jake the Snake's got to be up there too, man.
I never hated him.
Because he had the snake.
Yeah, but I never hated him.
Snake. Ooh, I did, but
That's the thing. I thought he was a cool bad guy. A lot of these guys were like Negan from Walking Dead before there was a Negan, where they were bad, but they were good.
yeah, I see where you're going with this. I see it. All right, yeah, Piper's a good choice on that one then, because yeah, when he was bad, I mean, he was an evil son of a gun. Nobody liked him, and kicking Cyndi Lauper and all that stuff. I mean, that was.
I think Jake the Snake 92 was probably better than Jake 86.
Yeah, well, he was by that point in time. He was a lot better.
I mean, he got more heat. Remember when he locked Undertaker's freaking arm in that?
Oh, in the casket. Yeah, his hand got clamped in there, and then, well, of course, what he did to the Ultimate Warrior with the Cobra, and well, he also got Macho Man with the Cobra. But yeah,
Well, you know what's funny about that? Did you? And I don't know. You're pretty good wrestling guys, so I'm not sure if I'm not just stumping. But you know that angle there, it was supposed to lead to Jake the Snake versus Ultimate, obviously. But after that SummerSlam where he held Vince up for money.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well. Poor Jake.
Yeah,
Jake had all these big paydays taken away from him through actions not of his own doing. He was supposed to have a whole program with Hogan, but he was getting better pops than Hogan was.
Yeah, he was getting more matches.
And they said, oh, this can't work. And I love the shoot interviews. Like, you sons of bitches cost me a lot of money.
They were cheering at DDT, so.
Yeah, he's like, y'all cost me a whole lot of money with that shit.
He could have made himself more of a heel if he would have came out and complained about the cheers. You think I want your cheers?
Doesn't matter. He was getting them, man, because like I said, he was so bad, he was good.
There it is. My man, you coming out here with these cheers. You're costing me money. I can't feed my snakes. I can't feed my kids. All I want to do is come out here and DDT Hulk Hogan's face into the mat and win that title.
Citron over here is calling Roddy Piper or Ted DiBiase.
I hated Ted DiBiase.
I guess I did too. I just not the kind. You know, I know who had nuclear heat with me, but I was a kid and I was stupid. So what did I know? Was Lou Albano. When Lou Albano turned on Snuka and all that with the Ray Stevens and all that whole thing, I wanted that fat bastard dead.
Well, I'm from the South, so I got to watch a lot of that Mid-South. When Barry Darso turned this back on the country and went with Nikolai Volkov and became Crusher Khrushchev, I hated that guy. Back in '83.
Yep. I had to read about that in magazines because we weren't getting that up in New York at the time.
I'm old. It was on TBS at the time.
Yeah, we didn't have TBS there yet.
Okay.
Yep. When I came to Florida, it was like '86, and that's when I got to see Southern wrestling, and I was like, oh, I like this shit so much better. Because it was real. You know, there were real people with real names, not, you know, a garbage man and a hillbilly, and it's like, I can relate better to this.
Jim Cornette's one of the best heels managers of all time.
And again, he's so good. He's so bad that he's good, and you can't hate him. He was annoying. He had that whole little mama's boy thing, and you kind of wanted to see him get his ass kicked, but you also knew that he's cool as hell and probably wanted to hang out with him.
You listen to his podcast?
The podcast, no, but I catch the YouTube parts of it. So whatever he puts up on YouTube,
with all the wrestling when it's 3 hours, 4 hours long.
Well, it goes fast because
it does.
Because he is so informative.
true, very true. I know he was doing. He was just. I was listening before I got on air. He was doing the thing with that Nikki Bella tweet about Vader before the Hall of Fame, and man, he was pretty much crapping on her.
Well, she thought she's gonna be able to meet Vader at the Hall of Fame. She's stupid.
Yeah. Good luck on that one.
You know who got the brains in that womb? Brie Bella.
Infrared has a comment about Jake, the infamous Corvette thief. I'm not sure what that reference is for.
The ultimate Corvette thief.
Was that like, did he steal someone's Corvette on air, like, as part of an angle, or did he legitimately get arrested for it? Because either one is plausible with Jake.
What's that thing about Jake and his drinking his pee or some stuff? That pee thing.
Yeah,
say that.
I'm out on that. I don't know.
I don't know.
And then Icon Sports brings up Roddy Piper also as a heel, but referencing when he attacked Snuka with, I mean, come on, man, with that coconut thing. You talk about the most famous Piper's Pit. I mean, that is legendary when he broke that damn coconut. And he said it, right to the very end, he was going that it was a shoot. He says, oh, yeah, we had the 3 coconuts in the bag, and the one I hit him with wasn't the one that was gimmicked. It looked real as hell, I'll tell you that. But I think he would have been dead if he really hit him full blast with a real coconut, causing it to explode like that off of his skull, if it wasn't gimmicked.
One of the best ultimate double turns in wrestling, I think WWF anyway, was when Honky Tonk Man was a babyface at the time, and
Yep.
he switched heel with Jake on that.
Yeah, see, he seemed heelish to me even before that. I mean, just the fact that he had Jimmy.
Well, he was doing that fan vote with Jesse the Body Ventura on Primetime Wrestling, and then that was just they drew it out where he was teasing the heel turn, but he was brought in as supposedly one of Hulk Hogan's buddies to put him over, but then everybody didn't like him, so they took a vote of confidence vote where they could send in. Basically, they were just trying to get their people's addresses so they could send them catalogs and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
That's how
like
they
what
used
they
to
did
do
with-
it back in the day.
Yeah, like when Hogan was out by Earthquake, and there's a send your cards and letters, send your cards and letters. That was just to get your address to send you stuff. Yeah.
Okay, we're getting some clarification over here, and it's bad.
Oh, take the steak Corvette thing.
Yeah, so apparently he had a Corvette that he listed as stolen to get the insurance money to buy drugs.
Oh,
God. And it's so
what he would've
believable,
done with
too.
that You know what he would have done with that world title? He would probably took an 8-ball and sniffed it off that gold.
He'd have sold it and told Vince, I don't know where I put the damn thing. Some bitch who was there a little while ago. Damon, you seen it?
Man,
Oh,
that
man.
guy got so messed up so many times. The fact that when he left WWF and then went to WCW, talked about he had like a $3 million contract or something like that, and then Bill
My man,
Watts didn't like
I put
him,
that
and
belt.
then
I
he
put
didn't
that
even
belt in the
last.
snake bag. I think Damien ate it.
He's looking a little weird around the sides there.
That's what he would say.
Icon Sports says Vince McMahon was the greatest overall heel of all time. I will say this. If you want to talk about the all-time hottest feud, I don't know how... I can't think of anything hotter than Austin McMahon. That was white hot. I mean, Hogan and Piper was right up there, too, but I think Austin and McMahon... I mean, look what it did. It took a 84-week slump in the ratings and turned it on its ass.
Yeah, I don't think you can disagree with that. I mean, you know,
But the NWO is the responsible for the Attitude Era, if you want to think about it,
Yeah.
because they were being the cool heels, and then I made Vince start changing his way of, instead of tuning things towards kids, he changed the demographic. So that's what, yeah.
And
But
what
now
really
he's
did it,
starting to get
honestly,
back.
was the whole thing with Bret Hart. Because if he doesn't
Trying to
have
go
to
back
screw
to that.
Bret Hart, then there's no Mr. McMahon.
Well,
They actually
Yeah.
did it themselves. They shot themselves and didn't realize it.
promoters have been screwing their champions out of the belts for years when they know they're leaving because they don't want That's why promoters actually used to make themselves the champion because they knew they
Right.
weren't going to be leaving.
Yeah,
Like
either
Vern
themselves
Gagne,
or yeah. I was just gonna say.
Vern Gagne was champion so long.
Well, that and Greg Gagne. It's like, how do you put a belt on Greg Gagne? Come on, man. Give him a sandwich. When I started watching AWA, when it started airing on ESPN and I could watch it in New York, I'm like, who's the skinny guy that I think I could kick his ass?
I used to watch wrestling every day at 4 o'clock on ESPN. Like
Yep.
when they used to show World Class Championship
Yep.
Wrestling.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes.
That's how I knew about World Class Championship Wrestling. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't have known none of it.
That's why Fritz made his boys the champions all the time because he knew they weren't going to leave. They might show some house matches, but they ain't going to leave.
Well, they left, but on totally different circumstances for sure.
The reason they left is because he sold it to Jerry Jarrett.
Oh, that's not where I was. That's not exactly where I was going with that.
Well,
They left on their own. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to. I'm just saying. But otherwise, yeah, they didn't leave really.
they took that 45.
Charles Haddon says when the Horseman broke Dusty's leg in the steel cage, that was a lot of heat. Now I wasn't here from when that happened. I got here right around that time though, so I was there for the fallout where Dusty's now after the Horseman with Magnum and everybody can get on his side.
Well, Blair was a babyface there before that match. Because he was fighting the Russian, they were fighting the Russians,
Right.
And then he was getting beat down by the.
And Dusty went in there to help him.
Tried to make the save. He tried to make the save.
And he did make the save.
Yeah.
And then, thank you for your help. Boom, there goes the leg.
That was shocking.
Now, the one I saw.
That was voted one of the most shocking moments in PWI in 1985.
Yeah, I can believe it. It was done well, too. And like I said, this is why I was enjoying it so much. This shit looked real. Because a few weeks later, they get Dusty, they tie him up in the back against a pickup truck, and they take a baseball bat and break his arm. Of course, they cut the camera right before impact because it's too graphic to show you. But where I came from, you might bring somebody out back, put them up against a pickup truck, and break their arm with a bat. It happens.
And if he would have been Bob Orton, he'd still be wearing that cast.
No kidding. Well, sometimes you need a little extra time for things to heal.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have Obamacare back then.
Icon Sports Network says, according to the Wrestling Bible website, #1 is Roddy Piper.
Oh, there I go. Hey, look at me getting the right guy. Yeah, like I said, that's the one that just, bam, that was in my head. He was a special kind of, again, I was a kid when I had my thing about Albano, but man, I wanted to kill him legit. I was like 12, 13 years old, and if I could have got a hand on a gun, I'd have gone to the garden and shot his ass. But that's because wrestling was real back then, damn it.
Can I backtrack to the Austin thing last night with
Sure.
McMahon? That was for nostalgia.
Oh, totally.
It was nostalgia, yeah, but at the same point in time, it's a 56-year-old guy doing a pretty damn good job who hasn't been in a ring in 19 years.
Well, he trained. He does his cardio and his everything. Yeah.
I don't know if he does it like he did, but he did enough. Look, he did enough of whatever he did to pull it off. And I found that match a whole lot more watchable than several of the other ones.
Oh, yeah. All I can say is that must be one hell of a paycheck for Austin.
Yeah, because originally it wasn't going to be anything other than, a talk show, breakdown, stunner, go home. And then it evolved into a match.
Well, he said a long time ago that if he could work with anybody on the modern day roster, it was going to be Kevin Owens. So, and they got similar styles.
True. Very true. Now, is it me? When that whole stunner issue, which obviously was very terrible, I thought he almost blew his quad out again. Just the way he got kicked and he was stumbling, fumbling around. Like, I don't know what the hell he was thinking he was doing.
He was just too old and didn't belong in a damn wrestling ring, man. Hopefully that's the last time he's ever in a ring, too.
Yeah.
Did you hear the pop he got when he took off his...
Yeah, because these are the kind of people that would cheer at a guillotine.
No, because they knew Stone Cold was going to come out. He actually... Did you see where Vince kind of blew it the Austin thing because when the music like stopped for a minute, then they like popped the Austin Theory's music. He like jumped and looked at the ramp because he like missed his cue.
I hate when that happens.
If you look back, you can see where Vince missed his cue because the music like stops and like suddenly turns to Austin Theory's music. He like thought it was gonna be Stone Cold's music, so he missed his cue.
I do like the play-by-play. Austin stuns Austin.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't part of the project.
So
Dark Selfie, welcome aboard, buddy. How you doing today?
I think Austin Theory has some good potential. That might be Georgia. That might be Georgia bias, but
all I know is the last time Vince said this was going to be a future champion, it was Drew McIntyre, and how did that work out the first time?
Well, he was a future champion. Just 30 years into the future, that's all.
It took 15 years, but he finally got it.
You know, Vince is still trying to figure out how that DeLorean thing works. I mean, he might have had his gauges mixed up a little bit there, that's all. Citron says he's a younger wrestling fan, but his dad's gotten him into the old school stuff. Citron, what age bracket would you fall into? Are you in my, I'm going to guess like 18 to 24 demographic?
Marty, fire up the DeLorean.
You old Doc Brown. Marty!
No, Bruce.
51.8 gigawatts.
In this case, it'd be Bruce. Bruce Pritchard. Bruce!
Yeah.
Put the DeLorean on.
If anybody was going to be the Doc from Back to the Future in this, it would probably be Bruce Pritchard.
Poor AJ too, man. He messed up his face trying to before in the entrance.
I was trying to figure out for the life of me. I thought maybe the pyro went off too close to him and he got burned. It's like, what did he do? He pissed somebody off in Gorilla? I mean, what the hell?
Star, I guess, was too low and it had like a little jagged edge or something like that.
Yep.
To walk close to it, he just flipped his face around.
I mean, I've heard of people getting the color the hard way, but shit, not from the entrance.
Yeah, I thought, man, did you do the Kerry Von Erich before the match with Jerry Lawler? Where he cut his arm before the match and they had to put that.
Yeah. And he wrestled that damn match. They almost had to call it off because I think he'll hit a vein or something. Jughead, what's up?
Yeah, I saw it. I'm like, what happened to his face?
I think Kerry was trying to take that blade to slice some cocaine, and he accidentally slipped. He's gonna take a bump off his arm, and
Yeah, you see, he goes just like pumping out into the crowd.
yeah, he's gonna take that bump off his arm. Instead, yeah.
Jughead, thanks so much. Appreciate you, man. Good to have you here. He's just got the 2K22 game, so I think you'll enjoy it. Look, the game is good from a looks perspective. It's the best it's ever looked. And they're starting to slowly but surely fix the things that are wrong with it. There's still plenty to be fixed, don't get me wrong, and I'm surprised. We had 2 patches in 2 days, and now we haven't heard nothing in a week. So we'll see how that all plays out.
It glitches harder. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
You play this game too?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the time I'm playing while he's playing. While he's got the show going on. I'm listening to him on my phone or watching on my phone. I'm downloading somebody. I'm like, hey, crap. I need that guy.
What I love about my show is not a lot of people watch it. They're always like at work and it's on, or I'm doing this and it's on. It's like I used to do it all during the overnight hours because I was working third shift for 11 years, and on my days off I would keep that schedule. It was just too much to try and bounce back and forth for 2 days. It wasn't worth it. So while I'm up from 11 p.m. to 2 in the afternoon, everybody else is pretty much either going to sleep or just waking up to go to work or whatever. So what else are you going to do but video games? So that's when I was doing all the streams at that point in time. And I had people all the time that were on third shift as well. And they would be like hanging out in the back or whatever. And they're watching the stuff that we were doing here. And I just get a kick out of when I hear how different people get to listen and watch.
I used to come in all the time because I'm a night owl.
Me too.
Yeah, same here. I'm with you with the third shift scheduling and usually and all that stuff. Oh, brutal. But yeah, there's no what else you can do at night. Play video games. But I'm glad I came across your channel.
Well, I'm
Very
glad you did too.
He does a good job. He's
Oh,
one of the
stop.
best.
You're going to make me blush.
Well, you do, because you're informative and you give other people credit for their work and stuff. You don't rip it off like blatantly rip it off like some people do.
No, I think it's important that, especially if somebody goes to the efforts like with the created wrestling content on the 2Ks and things like that. I mean, I know how long it takes to make one of those damn things. And I know.
I mean, people will use other people's creations and not give them credit for it, but you give people credit for their.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't see a point in not doing it. Not to mention, people generally want to know who did the stuff because they want to download them as well. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't even know how I came across your show. I just went on YouTube and I saw Vince McSham. I'm like, who the heck is Vince McSham? And what the heck? And I was like, all right. And then you could talk about wrestling at the same time and all that. And I was like, all right, this guy knows at least his stuff. He's not just some jabroni making a channel. Like you actually know what you're talking about. And I was like, all right.
Finally.
And you seem not biased to like anything particular. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
you like more old school wrestling, but you like stuff that happens in AEW.
I like anything that's good. Okay?
Me too.
It's a lot harder to be good now because back when I loved wrestling in the beginning, it was real. Because they told you it was real, and they never let you believe it wasn't real. And if you tried to tell them, I don't think you're real, they smack you upside the head and knock you on the floor. Then they took the curtain back and said, okay, we kind of let you guys know that everybody knows who's going to win and lose. But then they still had these elements of, but this is real and that's real. And so as long as you can at least try to make me forget that it's a work, then okay. I just don't feel like a lot when you got a guy like Boogs, okay?
Poor guy.
I'm just like looking at this and I'm thinking Doink. I'm thinking Duke the Dumpster Drozy. It's like, what the hell year are we in? How do you have AJ Styles and Boogs in the same place? You got AJ, who's an actual person with a real name.
Well, his shoot name is something Bugenhagen or something, and they just made it Rick Boogs.
It's not even the name. I mean, you could be Rick Boogs and be a bad. I mean, look, I wouldn't tell the guy anything to his face. He's pick me up and bend me in half. What's he, 270? He's a monster.
Well, he was a NCAA champion.
Oh, there you go.
So
why do you need to put him in suspenders and shorts? You don't think he can just be a bad son of a bitch wrestler who can bend you?
yeah, that's kind of what I think of Madcap Moss. They doing that crap with him when he's a good wrestler, legitimately a good wrestler.
Yeah, but
Riddick Moss.
Yeah, but I think they're doing a better job of keeping him a regular person though, and not a character.
Yeah. I know he does those stupid jokes.
I mean, he's doing.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I just had the wrong person's. Yeah, no, I'm with you now. Never mind. Totally agree. I was thinking about Hobbs.
He's doing that Milli Vanilli stuff with the guitar every night.
Toby Phelps, hello, sir.
Well, we won't be seeing Rick Boogs for a while, so maybe he'll have a character change when he comes back.
You can hope, but I don't know.
That squad and whatever, patella, that's pretty nasty stuff.
He'll be out for at least a year.
A year?
That quad, man. Quad tear, at least.
Wow. How long was Hunter out, though? Was he out a whole year?
Yep. First time he was.
Pretty close to that. I think it was maybe 8 or 9 months. But
So then Vince should have been gone 2 years.
well, yeah.
Leave it to Vince to blow out both quads getting in the ring.
Yeah, talk about dumb luck. But
And not only that, I mean, I can only imagine the level of how much pain had to be involved tearing a quad. And then to try and get up and tear the other one by trying to get up. He never acknowledged the pain. He sat on his ass and yelled at these two guys for fucking up their spot.
Well, I heard it was a different story when he got backstage.
Oh, I don't doubt it. But I'm just like, I don't know how you can delay that reaction for 15 minutes. I would think pretty immediately it's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, he just took his anger out on the guys in the match, basically. But yeah, no kidding.
I guess once the adrenaline wears off, then reality kicks in.
But in my opinion, I think it was planned for him to come out there and talk to them. But I don't think it was planned for him to blow his quads, though.
Well, definitely wouldn't have been planned for that. I don't think he was supposed to come down. You got to remember, that was the Royal Rumble finish. That really, it wasn't the way it was supposed to go, but actually you couldn't have asked for a better one because they both landed at the same exact time. You couldn't do it on purpose.
They were trying for that Lex Luger 94 finish, but they messed it up, I guess.
Yeah, apparently he was, one of them was supposed to, I think Cena was supposed to grab the rope and hold on or something like that. And momentum carried both of them over. But the fact that you got both feet hitting the ground at the same time, you're safe. You're going to restart the match, and you'll get your win the way you want it. But my God, he was pissed.
Yeah.
If I ever saw my boss walking up to me like that, I'd be like, yo, bitch, sit down before I hit you.
And you can say whatever you want about Vince for a lot of different things, but he does take bumps. It's like everyone says, he doesn't do anything that you wouldn't want anybody else to do. And I mean, he took that bump in the cage where he busted his tailbone.
Yeah, St. Valentine Massacre.
That Rob Gronkowski spot where he's jumping off the.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's blowing up that's one viral on YouTube where Vince goes backwards off that Paris part in the Performance Center.
Yeah. Rob Gronkowski, I was going to say maybe he'll start showing up now, but then I just realized that, what's our favorite quarterback? Brady. Tom Brady, there you go. Re-signed after all. First he retired, then he re-signed. Which I guess means Gronkowski also retired and re-signed. Because apparently those two were joined at the hip.
Brock actually never officially retired. He was actually looking at Buffalo at first. But
yeah, that's my team, the Bills.
But once Brady came back, I don't know. He hasn't decided yet, but I think he'll end up in Tampa. But
I don't know. Bruce Arians retired the other day.
You think he actually retired? Do you think they told him?
Well,
hey, guess what? You just retired.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
They kicked him upstairs as a consultant, but basically
Tom they want him there. Well, at least that was
Thank you, Jughead.
Tom Brady was like, if I'm coming back, Bruce Arians' offense ain't gonna work for me. It's like he's like Hulk Hogan. This don't work for me, brother.
Everything for Hulk Hogan don't work for him. My God.
So here's a legit question. All right, Cody debuted at WrestleMania, right?
Yep.
Got one of the pops of the night, right? Probably gonna get a big pop tonight. How long is that actually gonna last? You know how WrestleMania crowds are.
Yeah.
No chance, or you know what I mean? Anything that's a surprise or anything.
In my opinion, I think the bloom falls off the rose within 2 to 3 weeks. All right, let's look at it this way. CM Punk comes back to AEW, comes back to wrestling after 7-year hiatus in Chicago, and Chicago's still repairing the building from the roof damage from the pop. Okay. Week or two later, still getting a loud, resounding pop. Now it's been 2 months. He gets his pop, but nobody's got to worry about the roof. And that's CM Punk. He's a guy that you give him a microphone and you're going to sit there and you're going to listen to everything he has to say because it's gold. Can you say that about Cody?
But in the beginning, Roman Reigns, his promo sucked.
They were horrible.
He took that time off to friggin' work on it.
But it wasn't his fault, and it wasn't even anything worked on. The issue was they gave him a script.
They were trying to make him somebody he wasn't.
Exactly.
Now he can be himself and
not have a script. And that's why AEW is so much more watchable for me, because you knew they weren't running a script. They might have had bullet points, which that's normal. Make sure you touch on this, and touch on this. However you get there, that's on you. But make sure you don't miss these points.
Well, you can see where the WWE promos are kind of changing, because it's kind of like the NWO thing back in the day. They're making them change their game up. So the script, they're like going back to the bullet point thing, or they're letting the top guys they trust do their own thing, like Dolph Ziggler and guys like that. They're able to do their own promos.
Yeah, and again, you have people that can do that, so why wouldn't you? You know, the turning point for me with Roman, when they was trying to push him, and nobody was really, fans weren't accepting him. And then he had that program with John Cena. And it was Monday Night Raw, and Cena's standing there with him, and he just given him a pretty good shot. And then Roman has to respond, and he just freezes up. It's like he can't get a thought out of his head for a minute. And it's about 5 seconds goes by, but it had to feel like 50 minutes for him. And Cena just looks at him on live TV. It's called a promo, big guy. You're going to have to learn how to do one if you're going to be the big dog.
Yeah.
And he kind of like, oh, son of a bitch. And that moment, I felt it release. Like he finally just said, fuck this shit. I am not dealing with this script bullshit. I'm just going to tell this son of a bitch what I think of him. And when he came back from COVID, yeah, when he left for COVID because he couldn't afford to take the chance. And then when he came back, according to reliable sources, he told them, I'm going to come back, but I'm not going to do any more of your writing team. I'll be working with Paul, and we'll come up with some stuff, but I don't want scripts.
Well, he dodged the bullet because he was going to have to work with Goldberg.
Ooh.
At Mania.
Ooh.
Man, I see Austin got himself in a little bit of trouble this weekend, not legally or anything, but I was listening to the McAfee show earlier. He was talking all about Mania, and he was talking about the thing with Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And I guess, because we didn't see it because they don't show the producers or anything at the ringside, but he was going up and he's giving the middle finger, and Pac was there telling him, don't, like telling him, can't do it. They're waiting him not to do it. He kind of shrugged him off with the second one, put his middle finger up, and again, they're over by him, like, you can't do that. Like, so,
What the hell you gonna do, you dumb son of a bitch? You gonna fire me? Hell, I only work in one day.
Well, yeah, you could hear it. He's like, give me an effing beer. I mean, he called Owens a fat sack of,
Yeah.
All that stuff. It's like,
This is how we did it when I was wrestling.
yeah. I mean, they're not going to fire, what are you going to do, fire him? He's already fired. Do the Ric Flair thing,
I don't think I've ever seen Austin drop so many beers in a single night, though.
Well, if the dumb son of a bitch you know how to throw one.
But, yeah, it's just funny because, we don't see that stuff. But it's like, I was like, man, he was kind of letting the language go. But I figured, it's Mania. It's Austin. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
And not for nothing, it's on a streaming service that you pay for. It's not on CN or NBC or CBS or Fox, where anybody with a TV's got access to it. You have to go out of your way to get this program.
Correct.
So I just don't get it. It's like, what are people making a big deal about? But, hey, I don't think Austin was worried about a damn thing, because when you know it's your last day on the job, hey, boss, fuck you.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Like I said, what are you going to do, fire him?
I mean, I've been saying it on a few of the streams lately that I'm looking forward to this. The only reason I'm where I'm at right now is because when I took on the role, I brought my girlfriend over to be the assistant. And at that time, there were two people in higher positions than me that I greatly trust and respect. Well, the upper management, as in ownership, has fired both of them unceremoniously for stupidness. They didn't do anything to deserve being fired. These are guys with 30-year professional careers. I mean, these are not ham and eggers. And the only reason I didn't walk out on that note is because she has to now find another job before I can do that. Because if I leave, they'll get rid of her. So I'm kind of held hostage there for the last month or so. But my God, the day she finds a job, I'm going to have so much fun with that. Looking forward to it.
Oh,
Prime time. What's up?
So, I came back to the live when you were talking about somebody asked about Samoa Joe. I think what's going to happen, at least what it seems like, they don't officially have a TV deal as of yet. I think it's obvious they're going to incorporate some kind of ROH into AEW for a little while until they get whatever, at least keep the name out there. Because, you know, I think the Bucks and FTR fighting for the ROH tag titles on Dynamite. I'm pretty sure I saw that.
That I'm not sure.
And, you know, Samoa Joe's supposed to be there. I mean, yeah, I was just trying to check while I was talking to you here, but I'm almost positive they're defending the tag titles on Dynamite this week.
Well, I mean, they're going to want to obviously have something to counter WrestleMania week, and what we will presume will be something on Monday Night Raw, hopefully tonight, that would be newsworthy.
Whoa. You know, I hate reading the internet sometimes for rumors because you see stuff and sometimes it's like, why do I look? But you are curious. I'm not even going to say the names, but the names I see potentially going into this Edge stable. Okay, whatever you want to do.
Going where?
Okay, well, I'll say this. According to reports, and I hope this is wrong in some ways, 2 names being reportedly pitched for the Edge stable is Tommaso Ciampa and Rhea Ripley.
I'm thinking. I didn't know there was going to be a stable. I thought it was just going to be him and Damian, which I like that pairing.
I agree. I like that presentation, too.
If they're going to turn him into like a stable. Problem, I don't see Tommaso working because standing next to them, he's going to be a dwarf.
Yeah, I can actually see Rhea Ripley.
I actually kind of, when I heard that, I was like, well, I kind of like that. But I like Rhea with Liv right now, and I wouldn't mess with that. I'd let those 2 girls do their own thing right now.
True.
Fans overwhelmingly have loved seeing those 2 together.
I agree. And Liv Morgan has improved. She's still not.
I think she's good. I've never had a problem with her. Even back in the early days, I thought she was pretty good. I mean, she was still learning, but everybody learns every job you ever have. You got to start somewhere and work your way up, and she's done that.
Oh, yeah, very true. And so, I mean, I actually thought they were going to win the tag titles. I thought, okay, well, they're not going to give her the singles title just yet. At least give her the tag titles, but...
Yo, Train, I sent you a friend request on PlayStation.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm all new with learning this, so it's like I don't know if I can actually leave and accept it at the moment. I don't know how
You can accept it. All you have to do on your PlayStation, you can do it. If you're on your PlayStation.
Oh yeah. All right. See, thank you. You know, I'm very good at technology stuff, but I don't know, for some reason I don't know that part. So give me a minute, I'll accept
Just
it. No
keep
problem.
Yeah, I'll start taking a look into Discord a little bit more. Like I said, I've got a Discord. I just hardly ever even use it, and I've never...
I can help you with the Discord.
Okay.
Like, if you need...
I just don't know how to do it. It's that simple. I mean, I know how to get on there and look at some stuff, but I didn't know that you could actually channel...
If you need somebody to set you up a channel, I can help you out.
No, I've got one. I just, like I said, I've only used it for like almost like a Twitter feed kind of thing where you just go onto the pages that you have common interests with or stuff like that. Most of it's gaming stuff.
Well, yeah, I'm glad your guy here told me about even this feature, because I was like, man, I don't have a microphone on my PS4, but this is a pretty handy feature. I like this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's what producers is for. Sorry, I was nuking something in the microwave, so I had to step away to nuke something in the microwave.
Very good. Well, all right, everybody. I think that's going to probably about wrap it up. It's been a great run here today. I appreciate everybody, especially you 2 guys helping me out so much.
And next time you start a party chat, make sure it's more than 4 people, because you got it set up for only 4 people can join.
Yeah, well, I did that on purpose only because I didn't know how many people would get on. And once you get past 4, then you got people talking over each other, and it's impossible for anyone to hear anything.
I've been trying not to talk over you or anything.
No, you're fine. Yeah. You're fine. And 3 of us can monitor that. I mean, when one person's going, then you kind of back off. That's all. But, yeah, no, I thought this was actually really good. For a first attempt, I'm happy with this. But, yeah, we'll definitely see what we can do with getting something else going on with Discord, and if that can kind of be regulated a little bit as well to make sure we don't have
Do
like
any
20
of you-
voices.
Do any of y'all play GTA?
No. I
Eh,
I bought GTA 5 when it came out, and I turned it back in the next day.
Oh,
I just thought it was everything that was wrong with society. It's like every negative stereotype on black people is just so over the top in that game. And I just I found it offensive. And I'm not black, so go figure, right? In the meantime, I go to work, and one of the guys that also games there, he's a black guy, and he's telling me, "Oh man, I love my GTA." I said, "How do you do that, man? It is slapping you in the face as a black man, dropping N bombs and making you out to be gangbangers and all, and that's all it does, and it glorifies it." So anyway, that's my reason for not. I don't. Whoever else likes it, plays it. That's fine. It's got a huge audience, obviously, and I know there's a free one. What's today? Tomorrow. It'll be free for the month. Well, it'll be free forever if you download it. So you'll have a 30-day window to get it.
but not now. It's been 2K because trying to get all the right people downloaded, and I got the same problems Vince has got. You know, you find one download and you're like, oh, now you see this one, and then you see the moveset's crap, and it's like, oh, but he looks good. But I accepted the request, brother, and I sent one to Vince here. If he
Okay.
accepts it, he does. If he doesn't,
I will. I'll get you.
it's all good. But yep. I don't know if I have anything else to say. Sorry, brothers.
No, you're good, man. Appreciate it. Nice having you guys both on here. Appreciate all the help, JH, especially running this.
I'm usually in the chat, so this makes it a lot better where I can get you the questions that as they pop up.
Yeah, makes it easier on me too. So
because you're playing your game, because usually you're playing your game.
true, true. And this one kind of did a little bit of everything. So, all right. Well, that's what's news, and more to come. We'll see what happens on Monday nights. Any predictions for tonight?
Cody challenges maybe for the title?
Oh, man, that's pretty quick. Welcome aboard. Give me the title.
Well, or maybe he'll have to compete for it. Number one contenders kind of match, kind of deal. Maybe.
Well, there's a novel idea, having to earn a title match. Damn it, man.
I think AJ Styles is gonna have Cody as his partner against Damian Priest and Edge, or it might be Finn Balor. I don't know. Either Finn Balor or Cody.
Okay.
He needs that rub.
What happens tonight? Do we see the Fiend return?
No.
Braun Breaker.
Oh, I don't want to call up. That's not going to get a pop.
But
I'm still saying I think it has to happen.
if he comes to Raw, I should say. Braun Breaker could end up on SmackDown. But it's pretty obvious he's going to get called up.
He's gonna be a Steiner tonight. He's gonna become a Steiner tonight.
Now, that would be nice, but still not enough.
When he gets called up to the main roster, he's gonna be Bronson Steiner.
Oh, they need to go with Rex. Rex Steiner.
You can make him Rex Steiner on W2K22. That's what I did.
Yeah. But the name just sounds better. It has that bang. I'm still going to hold on hope, man. I got to believe that we're going to see The Fiend or Bray Wyatt, but I think he has to come back as The Fiend first. The lights are going to go out. I don't know who's going to be in the ring when they pop off and then they come back on. He's going to put somebody in Sister Abigail. All right, let's say he comes back tonight. Who would he be? Who would the target be?
Seth Rollins.
Why?
Because he's been doing all them surprise gimmicks where, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Seth's been used a bit already, and I think Seth might want to do something more with Cody because, he lost. So he's probably not happy about that.
Or they'll end up being a tag team against somebody tonight. Just knowing how WWE does stuff.
Yeah, because they don't want a one-on-one match. Oh, man. I'm trying to think who a good target would be.
Yeah, especially on the Raw roster. That's... not Lashley. I'd like to see him come in and destroy Omos and have him get fired. Omos is terrible. But,
yeah, I am really stumped on who would be the right. It could be easily Austin theory and just to, have somebody easily to lay out and not have to worry about it because he's right now everybody's job boy. But I don't know that does anything other than bring him back. I think if you're going to bring him back, you have to do it with an impact where he takes out a name person.
Honestly, I think he's going to go to AEW. I don't think he's coming to...
I think he would have done it already. That's just the way I think.
I'm just not big on Bray Wyatt because he's doing that Wyndham Rotundo gimmick now, and he might come back as Wyndham Rotundo, but he might. I don't think he'll be the Fiend anymore.
I think he would. I mean, he helped develop that character so much. That character is so over, and he can only be that character in one place. And from a merchandise standpoint, the WWE would love to have him there for that. I mean, the only reason he was let go is because the other Khan, Nick Khan, was the one just cutting people over in dollars and cents. That knows nothing about wrestling and doesn't understand he brought more in than you were paying out.
Oh, God, yeah. I think they were selling his championship belt. He had his own special belt that
Yeah,
he had.
and it was absolutely horrible.
Oh, God, yeah, it looked terrible, but I'm sure people bought it.
They did.
You know what I mean? And the mask and all that stuff for merchandise, like you said.
There's an audience for everything. You can put shit on a stick, and there's somebody who's going to pay you $100 for it. By the way, anybody got $100?
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I can get you shit on a stick. That part's not a problem.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm saying this much. So this will be a very interesting week because, Bailey's supposed to be coming back soon.
Yeah.
Any moment.
Bailey might come back tonight.
What was her injury deal?
Her knee.
Oh.
They might save her for SmackDown, but I think if they bring her back, because she had that feud going on with Bianca Belair before, so they might bring her back. I don't know.
So does she come back with that bob haircut, or does she come back as the hugger?
Probably the old or the new one.
I loved her as the hugger. I felt like that was really her. Her with Izzy, the little girl in the audience and all that. By the way, that girl's actually wrestling, right?
Yeah,
that little super fan?
Like when she was like 13, I remember there was
Yeah.
an uproar about that.
Yeah,
I
mean...
thought that was Aubrey Edwards, but never mind.
No, man, that little girl was like 12, 13 years old. She was already like training and taking bumps and stuff, and her parents were getting all kinds of death threats and nasty grams, and we're going to report you to Child Protective Services. And oh, man, everybody needs to just take a hold, man. We were kids in the backyard. We had empty swimming pools in the wintertime, and we would do all kinds of crazy shit that we should have been dead for. If she's actually got somebody training her as a professional, she's ahead of us.
Hopefully.
She does. I forget what I actually know who it is. I just can't think of who it is. But yeah, it's reputable.
Here's my predictions for tonight. Finn Balor and because since they got that WWE2K advertising, they're gonna put AJ and Finn Balor together naturally because it's one of the big storylines on My Rise. And I'm sorry if I spoiled it for anybody, but
no, it's okay. I stopped playing it. I didn't enjoy it.
Damn.
The last 3 years, they've been putting AJ Styles and Finn Balor together on the game, so I think they'll finally do it, make them a tag team. Because Finn Balor was feuding with Damian Priest before Mania, so it makes sense for him to come back and be tag team partner with AJ Styles.
There you go. And apparently Izzy was at WrestleCon. No kidding. Was she wrestling, or was she like signing autographs, or just there?
No, she was doing. I actually saw it because I was on Instagram. I was watching. Who was? I think Selena De La Renta was on Instagram, and she was. And whatchamacallit, Izzy was doing like interviews for people and stuff like that. So I think she's starting like her own kind of. She must have her own channel out there somewhere.
Who's Izzy?
That's a little girl that was the Bailey superfan back in NXT that Sasha made cry.
Yeah, she took like her head, whatever her head.
Yeah, the bow. She had the bow in her hair.
Yep.
And she was at everyone, the NXT shows, always sat there with her dad ringside, which at the beginning, I just thought happened to be like a super fan that did that, because I know when Impact used to tape over in Hollywood Studios, or not Hollywood Studios, but Universal Studios in Orlando, one of the girls that I was teaching at that time, I was in school, and her dad would go there all the time, and they routinely met AJ and Samoa Joe and all those guys because they had a really strong bond with the families and the kids that would go to their shows, where they wanted to keep the audience coming back. So before or after the program, they would come out, sign autographs, take pictures, and all that stuff. It was a very fan-friendly environment over there. So I thought it was kind of the same scenario where this girl just loved Bayley. She showed up every time dressed in Bayley gear and stuff like that. And Bayley would always high-five her and give her a hug because, of course, that was her thing. She's a hugger. But then to come find out afterwards, like when Sasha did that to her and she started crying, I legit thought that, again, if you can make me believe it's a work today, then you did something good. And I thought for sure she just really picked on this kid, made her cry, and she'll apologize afterwards. But apparently it was all part of the act, and that kid was a hell of an actress.
Yeah, her parents took some flack too, didn't they? There was some kind of
Yeah.
problem earlier this year or last year when that MSK debuted, and there was some kind of thing like they didn't. I can't remember the whole story now. I probably shouldn't even brought it up, but there was some kind of racial thing going on there, potentially.
The only thing I recall is that something to do with her dad. He got in trouble for something. I don't remember what it was, and it's recent, in the last couple of months probably.
Yeah, like I don't know if there were some tweets like they didn't want MSK around, and like all kinds of weird stuff. I don't know the whole deal with that family, but
Jusco says Lashley's going to challenge for me. Okay. Good luck with that. And then Infrared says that Izzy was there doing like a meet and greet kind of thing. So, I mean, she's got to be about what, 16, 17 now? I mean, she's almost old enough. Well, hell, some of these people, how old was Paige when she was legit wrestling? Wasn't she like 16 years old?
I think he was even younger than that over in wherever she comes from. Yeah.
Well, I mean, technically, she was wrestling before she was even born because her mom was pregnant with her.
Yep, Kate said that all the time. But yeah, no, she started at a very young age. I mean, in WWE, she was, I think, 18. Came over.
Jusco77 has a really good angle here. I like this. The Fiend makes an appearance, but he goes after Roman Reigns because he's beaten everybody human. And now he's going to go after Roman Reigns, I guess. The Beast.
It all depends how long Roman's going to keep these two belts thing. Like I think you said before, that's not going to last forever.
Well, what they need to do is get rid of the two belts and make one, and please don't put a fucking W on it. Something with wings and an eagle would be nice, you know? A belt, a championship title, not a corporate moniker.
True.
I mean, you know these belts are bad when I'm missing the spinner. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they are bad, and I sadly have a feeling it's just going to be another W, just a different color or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Well, I don't even think they're going to do that. I think he's just going to carry two damn straps around.
Like when Jericho had the two titles.
Yeah, but at least those were titles. That's what I'm saying. This is
True, yeah.
These are all cookie cutter. Everyone has the same belt. It's just a different color. The girls have the same belt. The guys have the same belt. It's just which one's blue, which one's red, which one's a little bigger, which one's a little smaller. That's it. There's no identity in these titles anymore.
Yeah, don't get me started on the tag titles that look like silver nickels.
I would still take that over the world titles. I mean, I don't know why they come up with these Roman Gladiator helmets for, how that ever tied in. I would love to see them go back to bringing back the championship plates from the 90s, 96 eras and things like that. Especially the tag team belts back then with like the Hart Foundation tag team title belts. Those were great.
Yep.
Big slab of steel on there. It says right on it, World Tag Team Champions. Look good.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I don't. They're used a lot on indie promotions. They use those belts and put their own titles, their own promotion title on there and stuff. I see it all the time. The winged eagle, I can't talk to it. Winged eagle belt is used a lot.
A lot of people love that belt. I don't dislike it. It's just, I don't know that it was my favorite necessarily.
Well, I like it more than the belt they're using currently. I agree. I wouldn't pay $350 for that piece of.
No, the only belt that I would spend $300 on, and I've thought about it in the past. What am I gonna do with it? It's gonna end up on a wall or some shit. That's $300. I'm gonna stick it on the wall. Why? But the big gold belt, Ric Flair's belt. That's the only one I would spend money on.
Well, needless to say, I think we'll have hopefully a lot to talk about tomorrow. Hopefully good about what happened on Raw. I don't know. Cody's going to do some kind of big promo, supposedly. So we'll see what happens with that. Who's going to debut? Somebody. I mean, maybe multiple people. I don't know.
Well, we're going to find out in the not-too-distant future. They kick off at what time? 8 o'clock, right?
Yep. So we're just a little over an hour away.
Over an hour away.
And if you don't have USA Network, you can go on Hulu tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock and watch the abbreviated version where they just play the best greatest hits.
The best of.
It's like, what, about an hour and a half long? I think it's like half the
2
show.
hours.
2 hours, so they basically cut out commercials
And all the stuff nobody wanted to see to begin with. There's another solution, too, is you can just DVR it and then fast forward through all that crap, which is what I usually do.
Yeah, I'll be a sucker tonight, and I'll watch the whole thing just because I'm curious. But after WrestleMania week, nope. I'm doing a DVR thing, just like you said. No, thank you.
All right. Well, I'm hoping to see The Fiend tonight, and if he does show up, it probably won't be until the last 5 minutes of the damn show. But they're going to get me tonight. I'm going to actually watch this crap tonight and see how it all turns out. Once again, thank you, everybody, for checking this out. This has been What's News. Big JH helping me out along with D-Train.
Hey, if you're going to put the House of Black together, use the Painful Literature motion. That's the best one.
There you go.
Okay.
That comes from a reliable source. All right, I'll be back.
Cody, and for Cody, use Ricochet's entrance with if you want the smoke and everything.
Yeah, because they don't let you kind of customize your own entrance anymore. You got to just pick whichever one you like.
Yeah, 2K23 changed that crap.
So, we'll see. But in the meantime, I'm looking forward to tonight, which I normally don't say that about Monday Night Raw. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good crowd. I think they're going to have at least one or two big surprises for us. And hopefully one of them is going to be The Fiend. They're going to pay him more money than AEW will to not have him go there. That's my prediction. You heard it here first. We'll see.
Well, yeah, they'll get their money back in merch.
That's
Just
right.
in merch alone.
Maybe even sooner, SummerSlam.
It's been fun.
It has been a blast. Thank you guys so much. Everyone in the chat room, thank you for your input and your ideas. Thank you for voting on the polls because that helps drive the machine.
If you're new here, make sure you smash the subscribe button.
Absolutely.
We only have 10 likes, and so we should get some more likes. Smash that like.
I didn't even look at that. Is that right? No, I got 15 over here.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's the first thing I do whenever I come in. Before I say, yo, hey, I like it, then I say, hey, what's up? That's a simple click.
That's dedication. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys all very much. Thank you again. Turning that corner, getting past the 2,000. We picked up another sub or two here today. That's also great. The nation continues to grow. I'd love to see us get to someday near 50,000 where they have to actually listen to us about the games.
Congratulations on the 2,000s, by the way.
Thank you very much. And like I said,
I think I was probably in the 100s when you started the channel. So
wow. Well, then you've been around a minute.
I've been here I've been here for a minute.
No shit.
I've been watching you for a long time.
Man, oh man.
I'm going on about 5 years as your moderator.
Wow. Yeah, it has been a very long time. And the funny thing is, most of the traction has been in the last 4 weeks.
I may not be here every time, but
that's cool. And like I said, I don't even have a set time schedule, so I would never expect anyone to be able to. I don't know when I'm going on half the time.
Make sure you have that bell notification set if you
Yep.
want to catch the McSham Man live.
That's the best way to know. And join and follow me on Twitter because I've been really good about using Twitter now this time around.
Twitter, your Twitter handle is Invasion.
Nope.
Then Invasion Nation
Nope.
Network, ain't it?
At One
hold on.
Nation Network and share the middle N.
Yeah. It's the number 1, lowercase n, ATION, NETWRK.
Only
That's
one
what
N in the
it's-
middle, buddy. The last N in
That's
Nation
what I said.
is the first N in.
I'll spell them for them though.
Okay. So I usually have it up on the screen. I just realized I didn't have the graphic
Or
up here.
just, or look in the search bar for Vince McSham, and it'll come up One Nation Network.
There you go. All right, everybody. Enjoy your Monday Night Raw the day after WrestleMania, and I'm sure we'll get on tomorrow and discuss what happened.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. Be safe. See ya.